All right, let's talk about abandoned baby versus a morning star candlestick formation. And they're different. In fact, the abandoned baby is considered a more technically a more solid signal because it's more rare and there's some psychology behind it that we'll talk about. So we need to understand what it is, what it isn't, and why it's different from a morning star. So as always, let's start off with looking at what an abandoned baby looks like. And so we're going to look for support. That's usually how they start when we're talking about a bullish one. By the way, these can be bearish as well. We just invert basically what we're talking about here. And what we're going to be looking for is price action coming down to that support level. And then what we have to have after that is a gap. And this is very, very important. It has to gap. And on that gap, we cannot have any overlap either. So this is one item. Gap is number one. Number two, no overlap of the wicks. And number three, we have to have a doji, not a spinning top, a doji. And so that's a slight difference from the morning star. And then it does need to come back up like this and have another big bullish candle taking it back. And the gap is really the big difference between the two. All right. And this is what you can see down here. You can see this big bearish candle, a gap down, a spinning top candlestick all by itself out there, abandoned all alone, and then a gap back up. And so really the reason why this is more significant than a morning star is because it's more rare. You don't usually get that gap like that. And so it's considered a more technically a stronger signal, even though a lot of it is very, very similar. So let's look at this one. This is not an abandoned baby. Why? Because we don't have the gap, even though we have the the movement down, and then this one we have a spinning top as well. So we have some overlap here. That is not actually an abandoned baby. This one is, but there's a little bit of difference. This is that textbook versus reality. So we see it coming down, and we see a gap down. We do have a little bit of a spinning top. It's not quite a doji, but it's a very small spinning top. We have the gap back up, but notice the gap back up did not immediately run. However, the next candle did. And so altogether, this does create kind of the same sentiment. I mean, the gap really was from here because this was a green candle, but understand it's not the picture perfect, but it has the same psychology behind it. All right, this is not one. This is more of a morning star. Run down, spinning top, jump back up, covering halfway that candle. So it's still there, but it's different, right? So again, the abandoned baby, it's very rare. You don't see it too often, but we do have to see that, push down the gap, the spinning top, and then the gap back up. All right, and it just invert it for a bearish one. Just looking at it running up, and then having a gap up and then a gap back down. So that's all we need to do to get on the bearish side. So hopefully that helps you understand the differences between those two.